What if the most shocking voice of the night did not belong to a chart-topping star, but to a child carrying a legacy no one was prepared to witness? The moment the lights dimmed, no one in the audience understood what they were about to see. The stage was quiet, the atmosphere restrained. Then a young girl stepped forward, small in stature, calm in presence, holding the microphone with a confidence far beyond her years. When she sang her first note, the room froze. And in that instant, a single thought raced through the crowd like electricity. That voice sounds just like Dylan Wang. What followed would become one of the most talked-about moments fans have ever experienced. Not because of spectacle or scandal, but because of something far more powerful. Inheritance. If you are still watching, subscribe. Let's get the story started as the world of your favorite celebrity unfolds.
Stay tuned.
For years, Dylan Wang has been known for his commanding screen presence, his charisma, and a voice that carries emotion even in silence. Whether speaking softly in interviews or projecting confidence on stage, his vocal tone has always been distinctive. But no one imagined that same unmistakable quality would reappear so clearly, so purely, in the voice of a child. As she sang, the resemblance became impossible to ignore. The tone, the phrasing, the emotional restraint followed by sudden intensity. It was not imitation. It was instinct, as if music itself had traveled quietly through bloodlines, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. The audience reaction was not loud at first. It was stunned stillness, then disbelief, then tears. Cameras cut to the crowd, where expressions shifted from curiosity to awe. Fans leaned forward, hands over mouths, eyes wide. Some whispered his name. Others simply stared, trying to process what they were hearing. This was not a performance polished by years of training. This was something raw and natural, the kind of talent that cannot be manufactured. When the performance ended, the silence lasted just long enough to feel unreal. Then the applause erupted. It was thunderous, emotional, uncontrollable. Not because she was young, not because of who her father is, but because she delivered something genuine, something that reached people before their minds could catch up. Behind the scenes, those who witnessed the moment described Dylan Wang standing motionless, his expression unreadable, eyes fixed on the stage. Not the confident star the world knows, but a father watching a piece of himself step into the light. Pride restrained by humility. Emotion carefully held back. Those close to him later spoke of how music has always been personal to Dylan. A private passion. A language he rarely showcases publicly. To see that same sensitivity emerge in his daughter was not just surprising. It was deeply symbolic. Fans quickly began drawing connections. The way she held certain notes longer, as if letting emotions settle before releasing it. The controlled vibrato. The subtle ache in her delivery. These were not learned tricks. They were echoes. Echoes of a man whose voice has always carried more than words. Social platforms exploded within minutes. Clips spread rapidly. Comments poured in from every corner of the world. Many said the same thing in different ways. Talent like this does not appear by accident. What made the moment even more powerful was her composure. No nerves. No rush. No need to impress. She sang as if she belonged there. As if the stage recognized her long before the audience did. In that performance, fans did not just witness a young girl singing. They witnessed legacy awakening. It raised questions no one had asked out loud before. How much of who we are lives quietly within the next generation? How much of our passion waits patiently to be reborn in another voice? Dylan Wang has always been a figure of intensity and restraint, a man who gives the world controlled glimpses of himself. In his daughter's voice, fans felt they were hearing something unfiltered, a softer truth. A continuation rather than a revelation. As the lights faded and the stage cleared, one thing was certain. This was not a one-time surprise. This was the beginning of a story that will be remembered not just for its shock, but for its beauty. A reminder that sometimes the most powerful performances are not about fame or expectation, but about heritage finding its voice. And on that night, under those lights, the world did not just hear a song. It heard the future. And yet, the most profound part of that night was not the applause, nor the viral clips, nor the stunned reactions echoing across screens worldwide. It was the silence that followed, the kind of silence that lingers when something irreversible has just occurred. Because once a voice like that is heard, it cannot be unheard. In the days that followed, fans replayed the performance obsessively, dissecting every note, every breath, every subtle shift in emotion. Music professionals weighed in quietly, noting control far beyond her age. Vocal coaches spoke of natural pitch recognition, of emotional timing that cannot be taught. Some called it rare. Others called it destiny. But fans called it familiar. They spoke of Dylan Wang's own journey, how his presence always carried an undercurrent of music even when he was not singing. How his emotional delivery in roles often felt rhythmic, almost melodic. Watching his daughter on that stage felt like watching a hidden chapter of his story finally surface. What struck people most was not the resemblance alone, but the restraint. She did not oversing. She did not chase the crowd. She allowed the song to breathe. That restraint mirrored the man who raised her, a performer known for holding back just enough to make the audience lean in. Behind closed doors, those close to the family revealed that this moment was never planned for spectacle. There were no grand announcements, no dramatic buildup. It was simply an opportunity given and a choice made. Dylan Wang did not push her forward.
He stood back. He watched. He trusted.
That trust is what resonated so deeply. In an industry that often rushes talent before it is ready, this moment felt different. It felt protected, as if the stage itself had been carefully chosen, not as a launch pad, but as a test. Not of popularity, but of readiness. And she passed without effort. As conversations grew louder, one question surfaced again and again. Will she follow this path? Those closest to Dylan remained calm. They spoke not of contracts or careers, but of balance. Of allowing a gift to grow without pressure. Of understanding that inheritance is not an obligation, but an option. Still, the world could not help but imagine. A future performance. A duet perhaps. A moment where two generations share the same stage, not as star and successor, but as voices bound by something deeper than fame. The thought alone sent waves of anticipation through fans who understood they had just witnessed the opening scene of a much larger story. For Dylan Wang, this moment subtly reshaped his public image. Not by adding anything new, but by revealing something tender that had always been there. The controlled intensity softened into something warmer, more human, more enduring. For his daughter, the night became a quiet turning point, not marked by headlines, but by confidence earned. She did not leave the stage as a child playing at performance. She left as someone who had been heard, truly heard, and remained steady in that knowing. Legacy is often misunderstood. It is not about copying footsteps or living up to a name. It is about carrying forward a feeling, a sensitivity, a way of expressing what words cannot. That night proved that legacy does not shout. It sings. And somewhere between the final note and the fading applause, fans realized they were not just witnessing talent inherited from a father. They were witnessing a story continuing itself, gently, deliberately, and with a voice that promised this was only the beginning.